Hi, Pat Wiles here in Colorado, and I'm ready to show you another episode of The Wonders of Watercolor. This is perhaps my favorite painting for students because it's got 100% success rate. You just can't fail with it. So without any further ado, I want to get started. I want to show you all the tricks that I taught you last week with the Miracle Wonderful brush that I use so often. So here we go with another adventure. We're going to paint aspen trees today. And for aspen trees, we're going to use a trick. There are lots and lots of ways that you can use watercolor and mask out areas that are going to remain white, because a purist in the world of transparent watercolor uses no white paint. All of the white is the paper. So therefore, I'm going to make these aspen trees with some tape that I've already pre-cut here, and it doesn't much matter. I'm going to kind of twist it around and make it go different directions, because that's the way these old aspen trees grow. Turn it around though, so that my thicker end is at the bottom. And then I want to put in 5 or 7 trees, whatever feels right, but they cross and they go different directions, and they're different sizes, and I want to get some of each size in here while I've got the chance. Here's a little fatter tree, I like that. And if your tree isn't looking fat enough, you can take another piece of tape and just add on to it. Missed some of the bottom there. There we go. Now, I think I've probably got enough aspens in my forest, so we're ready to paint. And here's the brush, and let's get started. What I want to do is work really fast and really wet, and it's just like the way we painted the leaves last year, only this time, I said year again, didn't I? Last week. And this time, we're going to do autumn aspen leaf colors. And I'm going to just get the whole paper wet. And use as much, because we want it to be wet, so that's why we're painting so fast. But once again, it's just the same thing that we did with our aspen leaf, our leaf painting last week, where we put the paint on, we let it go and mix with the other. Remember, those aspen trees are white, so you're going to want to use as many dark colors around them as you can. And you'll see I'm working somewhat from the middle outward, and I'm doing that for a reason. And that's so the paint will stay wet and so that it'll mix together. And I'm going to mix a few of my darks in with the lights there. And now, you'll remember last week I taught you how to scrape. Well, that's a very important part of this painting, because some of these aspen trees are laying down. So your hand goes down on the top of your brush and you scrape across. And these are some of my falling down aspens. The other thing I'm going to show you today is that if we add a little salt, we'll get some bushes. Helps if you know how to open it. So I'm going to add a little salt to my picture, just where I want bushes. And we'll see what happens. Now, this painting is finished as far as it's going to go right this minute. So I'm going to set it aside, and while it's drying, I'm going to do a little drawing for you. I told you a while back that I was on a weight loss program, and I am. And so I thought I would do a little advertisement here. And draw you a little cartoon while the paint dries. So this is my little guy. And he has been drinking the weight loss coffee that I've been using. And by golly, it's working for him, just like it did for me. I did a $20 6-day trial of the weight loss coffee, and I lost 7 pounds, and I had energy like you wouldn't believe. I mean, I wouldn't even be hungry until about 2 o'clock every day, and then I'd go, oh my gosh, I better eat something. And so my message with this drawing is that my weight loss coffee can make your clothes fall off. And sure enough, that's what's happening to this little guy. Okay. If you will just write me a message below that you're interested in knowing more about my coffee, I will send the first 5 people a free sample. Okay, our painting has dried, and now we're going to do something that my kids would call very satisfying. We're going to remove the tape and reveal our aspen trees. This tape is a great masking agent, and I think you could use it for fences, sometimes for buildings, the edges of buildings, lots of different things. But it's especially fun for these aspen trees, and we do not care that the paint has sometimes gone under the tape because it just makes it look more real to me. I like it. So we have these nice flat white stripes that don't look like trees. So what we've got to do as artists is make them look better. So what we're going to do is to give these trees a little shape, and one way to do that is by using either a light blue or gray. It can even be a green, but a light color. And using the point of your brush, which is the best edge you can get, we are going to go right down the edge of that aspen trees. And this is also how you can determine which ones are in front of the others. And we're going to create a shadow on one side of the tree. Every tree on here. And already, this is starting to give them a little form. And they're looking less like white stripes and a little more like trees. Now here's another trick. Remember the other day when we were learning about this brush, I was showing you how you can manipulate it. And so we're going to do this, and we're going to use a little bit of a curving motion to form the give this tree a little more roundness. And we're going to just add a few stripes like this. And what you don't want to do is go dot, 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 because they're not fence posts. We'll get to those later. They're just aspen trees. So now we've got these dots in here, and we're ready to move on. And I'm going to switch to a little smaller brush for this, because what I want to do now is create the aspen look. And this is the magic. This is what makes this painting magical. And that is that we are going to add all of the dots and things that make an aspen tree look like an aspen tree. And there's nothing hard about it. You just make all different size dots, and if they spread into the edges that we just put on there, we don't care. We like that. And while you're at it, you can throw in a branch here and there. Be careful about what's going in front of what. That does make a difference. But we could add a few branches, and that's just a mirror. This painting got a little darker than I had hoped. I like it when it's a little more yellow inside, but I'm going to go with it anyway because I'm going to go with it anyway. But as you can see, these are really starting now to look like aspens. And anywhere where your side didn't get any paint that went into it, it's a little too straight for you, that's where you can just add a little bit of this. I'm going to try to put some of these branches through the light so that they show up better. Now that I've added some dots and dashes and given these trees some form, I think there's only one thing left to do, and we learned it last week, and that is to put one of those cute little fences in here. So I'm going to grab my brush and get a lot of water on here. And I'm going to go back here and put in this fence. I'm trying to decide if I want it before or in front of, and I guess I do want it in front of the trees that are falling down. So turn your brush over, use it this way to bring the paint through, and that's why we use it so wet, so that it will carry the paint through. Sometimes you have to go both directions to do it. But now we've got this cute little fence back here. And then I did show you, oh, and I forgot something. Aspen trees always have more bark at the bottom for some reason. They're darker, and we like that because it kind of gives them a base. But also, I showed you last week a little something about grass. And what I want to do now is to add some of that grass that I was showing you how to make at the bottom here, just here and there. And like I said, this painting is a little bit dark, so it's not doing exactly what I want it to do, but you'll do better when you paint it. And unlike a lot of other tricks that you get to see, I'm going to tell you that try this at home. It's fun. It's a lot of fun, and it's an instant success for a painting. In fact, I've had students that have taken this painting and sold it immediately after their first lesson. So you can't beat that. Aspen trees. And now I thought I would tell you a little story because I can. I've been an artist on the art show circuit for a lot of years. And, you know, you don't start out being famous. In fact, you don't start out being much of anything. But you keep working at it. And here's my story for today. I was at an art show, one of my very first ones. I was a student artist, and I had a little bit of everything I'd ever done, you know, a print and a painting and an oil and an acrylic. And I sat in a mall in Austin, Texas, and I sat and I sat, and no people would walk by and they would look at my work, but nobody bought anything from me. And I was thinking, boy, this is really something. What am I going to do? And finally, this young couple came in, and gave them my spiel about my art, and I told them as much as I could about everything, and they picked up a painting and kind of conferred and bought it. And it wasn't very expensive. It was a cute little painting, and I was so excited because I thought, well, I have finally arrived. But as they were walking out of my booth, I heard them say, "Our wedding picture is going to look beautiful in this frame." That's the thought I'm going to leave you with today. Be safe.